Let's see the confirmation of blue and red side. Okay, Griffin has chosen blue side. KT chose blue side in game 1, and the word around Korea, even though we had the first stages of the playoffs be defined by choosing red side, blue side, because Urgot and other first picks are now seen as a tier above the strong champions, blue side is being preferred in most drafts. Game 1 was a bit scuffed in the draft because of all the jungle bans, 5 jungle bans in the first round. Already, we're seeing some divergence.
Yeah. Tahm Kench is finally going to be banned, the Aatrox as well here from KT. But that is a Rise ban coming in from Griffin, another pick that we were expecting to be relatively contested.
It's 3 first picks in another draft banned away, so we're having a lot more attention to what's overpowered. But can Griffin slide a winner? Varus, for example, would be a big power pick as a first pick, and on red side, it's more prized a first round draft on red side because it's a big flex pick between mid and bot lane. But the Varus, even if it's just going to be in the 2v2, is very, very powerful, was banned in game number 1.
Well, KT, do they ban the Kai'Sa or do they ban the Varus is the question here. Of course, the Kai'Sa goes down in value a little bit because Lehends was fantastic with those devours to allow her to be so incredibly powerful, but the Trundle, the 100% win rate for Tarzan is going to be the priority here from KT.
I think Varus is the first pick over the Kai'Sa just because AP Kai'Sa in a different game didn't win the team fight we saw and never got her items and wasn't able to pop off like Viper was in game number 1. And it's still a flex pick on blue side. You just can't flex pick until last pick because you're on the blue side. So definitely a tier list pick, but the Urgot is left open. I guess Griffin wonder, will KT be just as ready for it? First, we already know now, mid lane and top lane flex pick will be first picked for KT on red.
See whether it is going to be UCal that played it. The solo queue accounts that I've seen from UCal hasn't been playing the mid lane Urgot too much, but that's the Alistair coming in here as well, showing that now Marta, without having to worry about the fear beyond death, is going to once again be the cow.
UCal has actually been shielding most of his accounts. Very hard to find out what he's been playing recently. I was waiting to see how his Aurelia play was looking, because Chovy has been playing it extensively in solo queue, was banned in the second round in game number 1. This would be a blind Zac again, but this time not with the same attention to jungle. The Alistair's already shown could interrupt, but maybe not if Morgana's there. The Black Shield could definitely be on the blob ban.
Yeah, the classic Morgana and Varus lane, the purple stuff flying at you lane for Griffin. KT, do they just lock down the bottom lane here? Leave things still up in the air, or do they grab a jungler with priority for score?
Kai'Sa here. Kai'Sa would definitely fit the draft. It'd be a very hard lane, but Deft early in the season was the first to say, I don't really care about what you're doing. I'm going to Kai'Sa into any lane. They're not going to take the Kai'Sa for now. It'll probably get banned. And the result is a Taliyah. Who's it for is a question we do not know the answer.
Not quite yet. Of course, UCal was a Taliyah one-trick when he first made his way in, and this is before the Taliyah nerfs. So still going to have a little bit more movement speed, and Seismic Shove is lower on the cooldown, still a flat 12 seconds. And Cho'Gath to be banned here.
The Seismic Shove nerf was big for jungle because you couldn't use it on every camp because it had that flat higher cooldown. At a lower cooldown, she's still really powerful in the jungle. Again, guys, look at the screen. It will once show patch 8.15 right there, right below Sword in the mid. So it is patch 8.15 still. Akali disabled, in case you're wondering and joining us late, as it's been the entire Korean run of playoffs. Zooming in on the bans in the second round, 2 of Sword's comfort picks have been banned away.
Feels like you'd have to ban Mundo, and then Sword basically doesn't have comfort picks remaining.
Mundo in Korea has definitely fallen away. They're not going to buy too much into this being a mid lane Taliyah with a double ban. It could definitely be a mid lane Urgot, a mid lane Taliyah, or neither of those 2 picks.
That Kai'Sa that you were talking about still left available. KT getting a little bit baited here. We'll see whether Def does pick it up.
I want to see
playing a hell of a lot of it recently.
I want to see it selfishly because I want to see if Griffin can pick for lane and win. Because KT were doing this against Genji. That was the first team they did it against. It was Varus, Morgana, and Def said, you're not going to die. Me Ambition doesn't gank. I'm just going to farm it out. And they won with Kai'Sa. Griffin knows all about that scouting report. Usually they're the one on the Kai'Sa side of the matchup. Can they actually be the one to put Deft in his place? Because Kai'Sa Alistair shouldn't do anything against Varus Morgana.
Well, I absolutely love it, Papa, because what do you have on the top side of the map theoretically for KT? You've got the Urgot that is such a lane bully, such a powerhouse that should easy win any lane. And then KT can have all of the score support.
And On the side of Griffin, you can take Ornn, the best at losing lane, because he just pieces together items and throws down an ultimate, and it's always relevant. Wait and see the mid lane pick here, Galio. If they had the Kai'Sa, it was a big fallback for Lehens. The Zoe is available, and again, it's patch 8.15, so not as many nerfs have been chucked her way. They're going to go it, and it's a good matchup into the Taliyah, so it probably makes that even more unlikely to be a mid lane pick for UCAL.
Yeah, the passive and the W nerfs haven't come in yet. That is on 16, but you talk about Galio on the other side. Oh, now we're looking at UCAL for the Aurelia pick. We've seen Chovy, he's been playing it. You might have your questions answered here, Pablo.
And this is a pick that is really big in Korea around scrims. It will be locked in. Patch 8.15 is when Aurelia got nerfed, so no one played it so far in the playoffs with any regularity, but there's a lot of good matchups for her. The Zoe one was very much a skill matchup at the start of the season. There were meta reasons why Aurelia was pushed out. It wasn't laning matchups like Aurelia versus Zoe. We'll talk more about those in-game, but UCAL so far hasn't been impressive on Aurelia. Chovy was more of the performing player on the Aurelia, so how was the off-season been? I tried to look through the accounts and couldn't see the Aurelia from UCAL.
Well, in the regular season, UCAL only played the champion once as well, so that wasn't an impressive performance, and then also didn't. KT fans, you can hear the desperation in their voices. That 20% win rate after losing game one in a final is a very scary statistic, especially if you're an avid KT fan. As yeah, he's going to face check it. Can he actually get the flash? The pole was good, and he's going to be able to get out with his life.
Remember, so many flat resists from Aftershock that if you skill pole, Q, you get like 70 armor and MR and you walk out. He had to flash away, but does not go down, even though there was focus fire and an ignite on him from Griffin.
Yep. Interestingly enough, looking down the items after that little kerfuffle there in the jungle, we've got a boot start coming in from Deft. Get the extra pots, keep yourself alive. Deft
has been the most creative person and player in the LCK around starting items on AD carries. Remember, he's played Corrupting Potion, Xayah. He's tried many different things over the season to allow for sustain, because he picks bad matchups on purpose and believes in himself to get through them. Again, it was the Kai'Sa into Varus Morg. It's Kai'Sa versus Varus Morg again, and it's a Jhin-style start. Boots for potions, as if we're back in Season 3 and everyone bought the boots.
Well, you can see Griffin already playing up in this lane, as they certainly are able to.
Priority lane, which means that Zach should be able to farm his red side jungle at least very easily.
Yep. Dark Binding being shown here by Lehens and being on cooldown now meant that Death could at least easily clear that first wave. That actually may be a big deal, as that Rift Scuttler's going down incredibly fast by score. Can he get himself into the enemy jungle and challenge? But you can see already Griffin with lots of vision around all of their camps to keep Tarzan safe.
Score and Tarzan have probably been our most deadly Taliyah players. It's not the two I would have chosen pre-season. But Taliyah, understanding her as where I go, I can burst and force you to flash or just straight up kill you. Huge kill range, especially on patch 8.15, means that if you're pathing to the right place, you're profiting because of the power level of Taliyah's dueling. That's what we grew to learn. At the start, we thought it's going to be the highly mechanical junglers, Haru, maybe you don't even try it if you're someone like Ambition or Score or older players here. But instead, it's been about what the kit provides rather than necessarily threading every vault.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not an Ambition champion, but you would have thought Old Man Score, another one of those examples. Right now in the laning phase, everything very calm, very quiet. As the waves are settling themselves down, UCAL makes his way back into this lane with a slight lead.
And we should piece together some of the choices here. So KT's draft is what we have learned has become the expected Urgot draft. The reason why Urgot was said to be so strong is blind pick top lane, wins every lane. Doesn't matter if you try the Vladimir like we saw over in China, whether you take a tank, he will have prior. Doesn't mean solo kill every day, not that level of winning. But the fact that you can win lane blind, already you're thinking, okay, reminds me of Jace, which is another pick that's very high tier in Korea. Then you look also at the Keystone. Unsealed Spellbook can be taken and you don't lose any of that kill pressure. You don't need to summon Airy like a Jace or a Electrocute for another aggressive laner. You can go situational and ignite turret dive. You can do different things in team fights with that extra summoner spell. So you're getting that extra power of Unsealed Spellbook and winning, which basically means it doesn't matter how you are in a team fight. This is an amazing pick, and that's what has happened, you might say, but it's 8.15. Urgot hasn't been changed. you'd be correct on that, but it's a very specific play style for Urgot. Is another one of these champions that people just didn't play, just didn't visit for a long time. And the unique variable of this final being 3 weeks afterwards brings out the Urgot and maybe some pain in bot side.
Yeah, big fight here, and a victory for KT somehow. If that Void Seeker had have landed, Lehens would have been in a lot of trouble. Still has a few potions remaining.
I'm 100% certain if the final was played 1 week after the semifinal, we would have had no Urgot. But because of the quirk of the scheduling, a specialist pick like Urgot was prepared, started smashing scrims, and then everyone knew that Urgot priority was sky high. It was banned every game of the Challenger final yesterday.
Yeah, and also we saw it win a 15-minute game for RNG yesterday as well.
Don't talk about that game.
It is a filthy,
Let's keep it
champion.
in Korea for today, Atlas.
Also keep it PG as well, because that certainly wasn't that.
And flowing on from that comment about the Urgot is actually the predictions for this series, because if this series was played 1 week after the semifinal, I think everyone would have been KT. I think KT, after they had taken them down 2-0, 2-1 in the regular season, without all the time to adapt, would have been the heavy favorites. But it's not just the time that Griffin's had, it's the time KT hasn't had with Score going over to Asia games, with just the quirks of the system, and the fact that they haven't played on stage for 4 weeks. Usually you get that huge lead when you win the regular season because you skip the week of Gauntlet and then you're ready to go 1 week later. Now you actually had the reverse effect. It's a bit of a parabola because now it's been so long that you do worry about stage readiness with 1 month away from playing a competitive game.
Yeah, exactly right. And also, KT are a momentum team. And after not playing for a month, you don't have a lot of momentum. Or will easily be able to take down this Grom.
The other reason that for me, I said 54-46 in an interview with Homos, one of the Korean newspapers a few days ago. I was Griffin by yesterday, and we were talking about it earlier today. The other thing there is rewatching the semifinal, Griffin were able to correct a lot of the automatic thoughts about their playstyle. They played Ash Tom Kench, they played Varus lanes, they played for early game a lot more, and were clutch in the lane. Speaking of clutch,
yeah, Yukal is looking for it. The ultimate flies down, gets the blade surge. Another auto is going to be necessary. Grabs it and survives. Yukal with the perfect flash.
I was wondering if the Triumph would be enough to cancel out the turret, but it didn't even hit, so he ends up living safely. That's the thing about level 6 Aurelia. That's when she pops up.
That's the thing about 17-year-old mid laners as well. You can expect explosions like this. What a solo kill from Yukal, and that's KT. Momentum back in their favor.
And it's a reminder of the first 2-3 weeks of the season where post-MSI and BDD popping off, everyone thought Aurelia meta. But it didn't happen, Atlas, and now we have to recall why Aurelia left and why Aurelia is back today. Aurelia left because her laning can outplay, can skill match up. People played safe, but remember, why else is Aurelia good? She can dive immobile threats, and one of them is Zoe. That's why the 1v1 matchup has kill pressure. The other is the marksman that Aurelia makes it to mincemeat in the late game. We had no marksman. There was no one for Aurelia to dive, so the meta removed Aurelia from consideration because she didn't have multiple people to dive every team fight. The AD carries are back, so guess what? So's Aurelia.
And also, Deft is moving to a different item build here as well. We're going to have a BF sword as the first item, so it looks like Storm Razor will be the option here.
It's an extension of the respect. AD Kai'Sa a lot more able to fight at 1 item to fight at 2 item, lane stronger. It's a choice that also means, this is a very technical point, but when you go for your Legends choice, like Legends Bloodline for the healing, or Legends attack speed, if you're going AP, you go attack speeds for even more attack speed scaling. If you're going AD, you go Bloodline, so you actually have lifesteal coming through from that choice as well. So in multiple different ways, lane's better. He's facing Varus Morgana. He can't be super greedy, so I think it's the right choice by Deft.
Yeah, the high pressure lane situation. As the dust settles, it's not going to be a lead in farm for Yukal in the mid lane. Chovy still able to farm that one out. Battlestar's working out very well. You saw Tarzan tried his hand at finding a gank bottom side of the map, but Deft and Mata wanted nothing to do with it.
Tarzan is level 6 now, so solo kill so far is the lead, and that is ballooned about 700 gold lead. The side of KT, Wits End first for Yukal. Remember that there was a power adjustment away from Aurelia's abilities on this patch and towards her auto attacks. Wits End is an auto attacker build, so gonna have a lot of power in the 1v1.
Yeah, he's going to put behind any Trinity Force that he does want to pick up, but I do really like it, especially when you're up against an Ornn and a Zac who do a lot of magic damage. Hell, even a Varus who's building attack speed certainly does a lot of magic damage. The Blighted Quiver.
Very much Griffin are about their timing. Zoe Varus comps we've had very commonly, all about hitting the 1-2 items on the Varus, the 1 item on the Zoe, getting that Luton's Echo, and then go on mid lane and starting up the Siege. They also can threaten with the Zac and his engage range as well. But that's a product of vision line. That's what we know about these Siege comps. If you get the control wards down and where are the flankers, no idea where Zac is, then the Siege can be really strong. If all those variables are predictable, or if the game just leads to a 1-3-1, KT have the ultimate 1-3-1 comp, because Aurelia is probably the best side lane.
Oh, good sidestep coming in from KT. Lehens has to flash to get out of the way of Marta.
Getting a lead in 2v2, one of the big ways we thought KT would open this series. A nice aggressive moment is what is usually a losing lane. But coming back to my original point, Aurelia 1-3-1, supremely powerful as we know. No one will be able to stand 1v1. Maybe Sword can farm out under a turret. Can't do any more than that. Urgot, we already said, priority in the 1v1. Kai'Sa can combo with both of those and swoop in when she's done wave clearing mid to get kills in the side lane. And it's about the most deadly 1-3-1 you can get. The Shen support might be out, but 2 winning lanes and a Kai'Sa flying in is what KT has.
Well, you can see Smeb getting frisky here with Sword, but Tarzan is up here to help out. That being said, he's just going to back away. The Mountain Drake should be taken by KT, and Score is getting everything. Tarzan can't get a Rift Scuttler to save his life, Popper. It's been all of them going over to this Taliyah, 80 compared to 50. And just huge.
But it also plays into items. Wits End Aurelia, already a solo kill. Well, the mid laner ain't coming first for sure. That's another thing that Taliyah can now use in her arsenal. Only bot lane is an area where they have to be a little bit in two minds, and Lehens already used his flash defensively. So basically everything now, if they can somehow make bot lane a full priority lane, it's just 3 dominating lanes, and a jungler who farms fast saying, I'm going to take every camp on the map.
And the Rift Herald as well, as Shelly is going to take a lot of damage. You can see Scry's Bloom is actually utilized, but Sword not going to be face-checking this one, and Shelly should just go for free. Over to KT, Smeb and Yukal make their way up. That's lane priority for you, ladies and gentlemen. And she is going to go down. Tarzan in the only lane, really, that Griffin can gank.
Tarzan has to go bot side. That's where his duo lane is. KT know, both from a ward and just how the champion is, he will spend all his time on the bot side. Rift Herald's free. Blue buff steals are free. Basically, the top side is a wash. KT already won it in drafts.
Yep. It's happened. This is the red side for you, and it looks that with KT now trying their hand at the counter pick strategy has worked out for now. That being said, we're 12 minutes into this game. Rift Herald is going to get thrown down, and KT looking for first turret here in the mid lane.
Smeb walks up, he's rotating. Trophy can't wave clear a Rift Herald. It's going to be first turret mid lane. See if Zac can change the story.
Yeah, we will have the kidnap available, but good God, that turret is more than dead already. Might even get another charge here. Oh, he misses the eye, but
he got it in the end.
Yeah,
so was able to decrease the damage, but one charge always going to happen.
Yeah, it's not old Shelly where she would have done basically no damage. This time around has a base damage that's pretty high. That's going to be first brick. A lot of damage.
You want to know something scary? KT have all got the 1 items too. Black Cleaver, Runic Echo, the Wits End, and the Storm Razor.
Again, and the Moby Boots.
AP Kais has gone. Yeah, for an Alistar, his first item definitely is Moby's.
I wasn't being facetious.
They all have their core items, and there's a Frozen Heart and some Sorcerer's Shoes on the side of Griffin and nothing else. So KT had the priority top and mid. The item timing is working out really well. It's Q Evolve already for Deft. So Deft wants to fight earlier. His other lanes are winning, and the jungler is overwhelming. Griffin are already kind of into 5-4 Griffin's second round territory of, well, maybe there's a late game team fight we can win. And I don't necessarily think they've picked for late game team fights either.
They do have more tanks available to them. So you feel front to back does work out here, but KT are looking for Sword. In goes the Weaver's Wall, and he can't get over. Oh, he actually does manage to get in with the flash. Defiance not going to land here as Seismic Shove also avoided his Sword. All he's doing is walking in a straight line, and it was a success.
It was super effective in this way with Taliyah. They thought a couple of rounds from Taliyah and the X should come out. Never got that low. Well played by Sword. Cracked the wall with his E and then flashed for distance.
Oh, more fantastic vision available here from KT. They know where Tarzan is. Moving towards top side. Yukal actually thinking of trying to stop him here. Control wards available all down this river. So much priority and availability. We talked about this with Talia mid lane. Having this priority in the bottom side river seems to be already still there for KT Rolster.
And the problem for Griffin seems to be the Zac priority. They're going very early Zac, who needs some help. And if Yukal's willing to pick for lane on the bot side, you're giving Urgot open. That's the exact prototype of a draft Zac doesn't get to late game in. But Griffin, they got a strong laning duo. They're still picking up farm around the map, so their farm numbers aren't being hurt. But map control, as we've seen multiple times illustrated, very minimal.
Yukal going to easily solo out the blue buff, head back to this mid lane, see whether he can find anything more. And gigantic CS lead. That's almost double the camps going to score.
It's an obscene amount of camps to have on the side of score at 14 minutes, but also not have on the side of the Zac. It turns out if you get to them first and you clear them fast, goodbye camps.
And also he's taken every single Rift Scuttler on the map so far, so that's even higher inflation than that, because some of those camps are worth more money. Just insane. I'd like to see some of the numbers that Score manages to get up to when it comes to deficits, especially around the 15 to 20 minute mark. Score continuing to look aggressively now on the bottom side. Does have to respect the Black Shield. As there's the flash to make his way in. Mata is down there, Killer Instinct from depth, but misses a whole lot of the damage availability. Ultimate is there as now the Ornhorn comes down, in comes Sword. They pick up the first kill. KT now on the back foot as they've only got 4 members available, and Tarzan gets in at the perfect time. Good defiance from Snab as it's a lot of damage with the passives available. Yukal joins up on the bottom side looking for it, doesn't get it as Viper's going to be able to take him down, and KT, can they get anything more? I don't think so. It's a great fight for Griffin once again in game 2.
They're able to trade in evenly. That was the big thing, Atlas. They needed an even trade with how far behind they were. And we also had one thing that we didn't discuss illustrated on screen. We mentioned what Griffin didn't have. There were a lot of things they didn't have. They can punish mistakes so well with Ornn and Zac, and it's the Ornn that really comes up trumps. Reliable engage against a team that has historically made mistakes can punish them easily.
Well, it worked out pretty damn well, especially Lehens with that stopwatch availability. And this timing from Tarzan also incredibly clutch.
Not the fight that Yukal was looking for, but still able to go 1-for-1. Couldn't quite get the second kill, but was one auto away from being able to make that happen. So the terrain wasn't chosen by KT. They fought too aggressively and got punished and then turned on. The terrain was better. If that's in a long lane, Yukal gets 3 kills and the game might be over.
Yeah, straight up. I also think he missed out on the reset on the Blade Surge as well. So unable to actually get that quick double kill. That being said, he's still very, very strong. Now with the Sheen picked up, a Trinity Force is not far away. Dark Binding going to be avoided here by KT, giving away the fact that they have that ward available, and Lehens is going to be able to clear that one out.
KT all about keeping the tempo high. That is how they play as a team, and the Urgot and Aurelia let us know that was how they intended to play out this game. They don't want Varus to have any safe places to farm out a Rage Blade and Blade the Ruin King. And sending 4 members bot lane a good start. They move away the Aurelia, but just so little control. The Zac being just surgically disseminated by Score. This is vintage Score in the second game.
Yep, even more vision control available here. As you saw Smeb, he was able to get vision in there. It means that this second dragon going to KT for free as well. Their control of the bottom side of the map has been immaculate. And Score has been capitalizing. It was almost first brick going down bottom side as well. As you see, under the turret have Viper and Lehens been this whole game.
Oh, deep breath taken. Looking over at some of the numbers of this game. Still good numbers for Deft. He had found those couple of all-ends that really helped out the laning phase. So very well done for him in that regard. The Urgot has had priority, but hasn't really been able to put too much damage into Sword, but with a friend.
Yep, that's the Weaver's Wall. Can Score actually land the seismic shove this time around? Flash does come in. Doesn't invest it, as Chovy is now the option. Flawless Duet, not so flawless here. Doesn't quite pick up the Zoe, but it means yet another Rift Scuttler. Tarzan not allowed in the river ever.
So not able to fight for anything, has to fully disengage. Didn't need to use his ultimate there, has that wave clear later. Deft puts out just a bit of a check there with the Void Seeker, but Score just continues on his merry way as every camp just spontaneously explodes. They see him, salutes him, and gives him some gold.
Yeah, it's pretty much like they just commit suicide as he walks towards them. It's terrifying. Trinity Force now done. 2-item spike in for UCal. Probably wants to get himself some Merc Treads, and he's going to be the happiest Aurelia ever.
So we're in
Score's turn to set up shop.
We're definitely in KT 2017 territory of win lane, right? But remember, back in those days, the win game part was a bit of a 60-40. They definitely found it hard to execute in the mid game. And KT, they've gotten a lot better in that metric. They haven't been finding the same level of just unenforced mistakes, losing them games in summer. They've been much more clutch, as we had numbers to illustrate. However, it's the grand final. It's a different arena. It's the place where famously Score has never been able to pick up that win. So can they still be 8-1 second round robin KT? Because it's a big lead. They have a lot of priority. The gold lead in terms of feel is bigger than the gold lead in terms of actual numbers. It's only 2,400, but it feels like they're 5K gold ahead.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that they're the Kai'Sa team this time around. And good God, Lehens, I think he was there moments ago. But that's one combo from Score, and he's gone.
Well, apparently the jungle camps include Morganas as well. Yeah. I thought it stopped at Wolves and Gromps, but Morgana just evaporated at the sight of Score. He went Morella Nomicon. He actually already has it. So this is definitely a feasting build. Could the Mana Magi's come out as he tries to carry his team to victory as mid lane?
Yep. Oh no, the Vanguard's Edge isn't going to land, and UCal's just going to get punished. Viper picks up that kill. Nicely done. Does Griffin get one back on the board?
And even though you're still in shock as to how fast the Morgana died, remember, that's actually right down the tail of the tape. The Talia killed the Morgana really fast, and then UCal died for a 1-for-1. So that doesn't actually move the game further for KT. And any trades with how this game has gone and how the Urgot and Aurelia have looked are not in the favor of KT Rolster. Even though we feel good about KT late game, couple of those big Ornhorns and a perfect Zac ultimate, and maybe the late game where they have 4 items never comes.
Yeah, and also, Griffin can start a fight whenever they want at the same time. They know they can utilize this engage, and we understand that Griffin's ability to understand when to fight is so good. I know a lot of you guys at home read the CV Max interview. That's something that they put a lot of time and effort into.
But then you think of KT, and you think of the draft they've gotten, this prototype top lane Urgot draft, and it's, you can't send anyone against the Urgot and Aurelia. You don't have the champions to be able to do that. There's 3 members of the enemy team for you to fight against, but we know you're looking to engage and you're desperate, so we'll just keep winning in the side lane. That's what KT want, but are they going to get it?
Yeah, Rolster comes in. Viper taking a lot of damage as UCal looking for it. Flashes himself over. It's a good stopwatch, but Mata gets him with the headbutt, and that's going to be the first kill coming in for Deft. Finds the second. Good God, the Kai'Sa is popping off once again. His sword is going to be punished. The kill goes over to Score. No quadras for Deft this time, but this is starting to look real dire for Griffin.
And this is an illustration of where the game is supposed to go. You can never catch Kai'Sa because she doesn't need to be on the screen for her positioning. KT turning over to Baron. The Talia is going to do plenty of work, so's the Kai'Sa. Nothing Griffin can do.
Yep, and it's now a Deft's Rage Blade, Papa Smithy. He just picks up the item, looks so angry as he decimates Griffin with it. They're going to be able to pick themselves up a 22-minute Baron as well. This is the way KT wins games, and we're seeing it in Game 2.
That's why I thought Kai'Sa will be a frequent ban this series, because you have Urgot and Aurelia, 2 scrappy champions with kill threat who don't die quickly, and then Kai'Sa gets so much time to choose her moment. The Varus' health bar, Viper's health bar being low is what triggered Kai'Sa to come in. And the moment she came in, the fight was over.
Yep, and also knew exactly when she could get in there as well. Lands the Void Seeker, all the AoE is right there, and you know that Deft is going to be flashing after these kills. It's a beautiful play. It's exactly what you expect from Kai'Sas of this caliber as well. Viper and Deft, certainly 2 of our best here in the LCK.
This is the tricky part about Aurelia Urgot. This is why the Aurelia is so popular, because they're able to do and leverage so much as just solo picks in lane, but even in skirmishes, 2v2s, 3v3s, that by the end, when you have this engage comp from Griffin, there may never be that perfect moment to combo the engage and get a big lane.
Well, Ornhorn comes in, it's going to land only onto 1, but it's a good double knock-up coming down from Score. As they get the kidnap, the Aurelia is going to die, but Score keeps himself alive for the moment. Had to use the flashes. Now Smeb just playing aggressively onto Chovy here on the top side.
Full court press is punished by the engage, so Orin able to find the 1 for 0, but it doesn't actually abate the siege. They're able to take down the mid lane turret. 131, we already said, is where KT prospers. Half the health of the inner turret in top as well. KT don't lose any map control, losing their Aurelia.
Yeah, Score is going to deal with this Drake so extraordinarily quickly. Powered recall comes in from Mata. He's going to go refill those control wards as Mata is wont to do. And yet another Rift Scuffler goes over to Score.
Feel really blessed that in our first 2 games, if KT do stick the landing here, we're really showing where the meta is at in Korea. All this patch did not change, but gameplay and picks did change. This is reminiscent of things like StarCraft Brood War. They didn't patch for over 10 years. The meta stayed the same in terms of the balance level, but the meta around it, the picks around it, and the strategies did change.
Yeah, and I remember we were having a conversation about this, and I remember the exact time in Brood War where that happened. It was the Terran versus Zerg matchup, if you guys do know any StarCraft. They
normally know about the Space Marine dudes versus the alien dudes.
Yep, that's certainly the matchup that I'm talking about. And there was a build that won basically 10-0 or something like that in favor of Zerg. It made them look completely bogus and broken. It was like Mutalisks were the silliest unit in the game. And then Terran just discovered how to beat it. And that's the sort of evolution that we're getting here. It's a real treat to see it because we've had this patch for so long.
Urgot is discovered as a competitive first pick because of the 3 weeks. The other champions go up and down, watching other regions and scrimming regions. A lot of China versus Korea scrims have been happening. Saw the Urgot plenty in their gauntlet so far. Deft has just gone Banshee Veil for safety. It's definitely not the min-max damage build, but he knows he needs the Banshee, and a bit of ability power goes a long way with the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, Voidseeker is going to be doing a hell of a lot of damage. Probably will go Nashor as item number 4, because he likes this sort of Uzi style build where you have the Storm Razor, but then you build AP after that and sort of get the best of both worlds. The triple evolve style, you get a decent 1 item, 2 item power spike with the Rage Blade plus Storm Razor and Storm Razor on.
So we've seen Ultra Tank AP Kai'Sa, now we're seeing Hybrid Kai'Sa, but the 131 Urgot usage. In Game 3, do both those picks get banned, and then we understand where the meta goes next, because these games are definitely being biased by Urgot's supreme power, especially in top lane in terms of the laning phase priority, but also the Kai'Sa just being able to benefit from brawlers taking a long time and then choosing her time to enter a fight with the ultimate.
Well, you can see KT going to get spotted by that ward there on the bottom side. They've got so much vision available here as next Dragon is going to be a cloud, but it's coming up in about 5 minutes' time. The Baron as well, not quite available just yet, about 3 or 4 for that one. KT looking for objectives to take on the map. Griffin getting a bit of respite here at this stage. However, it feels like the calm before the storm. You've seen Return of the King, Papa Smithy, and that conversation between Merry and Gandalf. This is that time where you can see those storm clouds in Mount Doom. Mount Doom in this story is KT Rolster.
Well, the problem is I don't think the training montage has been long enough for the side of Griffin. Look at the item disparities between the 2 teams. If you're wondering about Urgot builds, it's Black Cleaver into whichever tank item feels good. Righteous Glory and also into further magic resist here is Smeb. There's also considerable tankiness on threat on the side of KT. Meanwhile, Chovy can only build threat, and he's behind in his build. The orange is pretty tanky, but it's only 2 items also onto Viper. So the threats definitely can't ride the line between tankiness and threat like they can on KT, and they don't even have just a straight-up threat. They haven't even fully indexed into the one thing they can do on the side of Griffin.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and KT just have so much one-shot potential. They've got Banshee's Veils, and I think that is enough damage mitigation to get themselves a single pick, because in the time it takes to get one ability off on the side of Griffin, KT have killed someone. In all likelihood, that's just how a team fight is going to go. Griffin have to play it out in a 4v5 scenario.
But they can catch, because you catch Talia, you catch other people, they do die. Banshee Veil goes a long way, but with the Ornn and Zac, there's always the chance, even just a trouble bubble over a wall. And that's probably only going to delay. I think we're at the point, we know now the siege game from Griffin will never happen, but they do need to find a way to get 3-4 items, just out-team fight with Viper, because Varus can still be very threatening 4-5 items.
Well, it's a good Dark Binding to knock off the Banshee's Veil on Deft, but that will be available once Baron spawns in 35 seconds.
And
Sword, can he get this? Nope.
And just Griffin have so few things they can do. They're waiting for minion waves to be pushed in. They're waiting for the enemy to start the Baron. 1-3-1 is that frustrating playstyle where you're denied resources. The gold lead keeps growing. It's almost 10,000 gold because of the starvation of how powerful the 1-3-1 is from KT. And now, it's really only something like a smite that really looms as a way for Griffin to actually get back in. And normally, it's the team with Orin and Zach that have all the options.
Well, at least Viper's picked up 3 items. Wit's End was item number 3. On hit Varus to come in here as Flawless Duet does register. Yukal slowed down, but now the 2-man Baron is coming in. Def does just ridiculous amounts of damage.
It's almost dead.
Yeah, they are going to pull away from it, though. They don't want to go into a smite battle, as now Yukal could be in trouble. The flash comes in. Kidnap finds no one on the side of Tarzan. That is not what you want as Marta tanks up so much damage. Ornhorn comes in, and it might just be a free kill going over as Smeb. Looking for more, comes over the side as Lahens takes down Yukal, but now Def starts off in this fight, and Score is doing so much damage to Sword. Smeb right here in this fight, but remember, Deft is still alive. The Q lands Viper. He's the first to go down as Chovy does have to be respected. Deft is able to take him down, though Tarzan falls as well. And that is going to be that KT Rolster on the back of Deft are gonna win the fight.
The Kai'Sa, a raid boss just like game one. Doesn't matter if it's Viper or Def. They're able to clean it up. No one can take down the Kai'Sa, and she just laps up all the low health bars at the end.
Have a look at it again, Papa. Tarzan, it's heartbreaking to see that kidnap miss.
But Griffin needed to keep fighting because we already outlined that you disengage from this and you get obliterated in the 1-3-1. They keep fighting. Smeb takes a long time to get here. If he's in the fight earlier, this is a clean sweep for KT. But he doesn't actually get in the fight until later. You might think, all right, with the numbers here, maybe there's still a fight that Griffin wins. But Def, full health, still had his ultimate up. Tarzan can't help out Chovy, and with the consistent damage from AD carry dead, the Baron is dead as well.
Yeah, Supercharger in perfect timing, and KT grabbed their second Baron of the game at 30 minutes. That's almost right on the clock. They just had to win a cheeky team fight beforehand. KT poised now to take this one. 11,000 gold is the lead. And Griffin, we know they're strong in the late game, but this is going to have to take a next level miracle to win this game.
Seems so hard. The Zoe is such a passenger in this game. Zoe memes were the dominant memes of summer season. One-shots and all of her ability to easily outplay the enemy. But Aurelia was the sort of champion that held her in check, then went away, Atlas. The Aurelia left, and we weren't left with matchups like this, where the Aurelia, both in skirmishes and in warping the games in 1-3-1, has meant this game hasn't been about Zoe. She has been the least influential champion on the map.
Oh no, Score is feeling it, Papa. He's got a 10-stack Magi's now in his back pocket.
Already efficient, remember, it's already got that movement speed.
Yep, absolutely. This is a KT Rolster you do not want to be going up against. We mentioned momentum. I wonder what this means for the rest of the series. Gigantic damage. That was just the last team fight, guys. 6,000 already for Deft. Now Marta looking to try and start up this fight. If KT get a fight on their terms, that's a great thing here. But the first pull is going to come in from Sword. Throws down the Ornhorn, but KT, they just disengage. It's just going to be a continued siege. This siege minion still doing so much work, and Griffin just can't go near it.
Deft has a death cap in his back pocket, so
stepped away from Nashor's, decides to go full AP.
Choosing his moment for sure. KT, not enough threat onto them. They take down this inner turret. Still 1 minute 30 of the second Baron buff, and they want some inhibitors.
Yep, 2 Banshee's Veils available here as well, as that was a Hexa Flash from Marta. Throws down the ultimate now as Griffin starting to take some damage on their tanks, but thankfully their carries remain alive. KT have to be a little bit careful. Slightly rambunctious as the last auto attack from that siege minion doesn't come in. Smeb, he's very low range. He's going to be able to take down this turret as the Vanguard Edge comes in just to guarantee that one. Sword gets booped back with the seismic shove and gets eaten by Smeb. Finally getting some revenge against his counterpart from game one. First inhib goes down, and KT looks like they just want to end the game.
We will not be getting a clean sweep in this best of 5. We're going late tonight. KT Rolster so far ahead. They just want some more kills, maybe some more stacks to score.
Yeah, gigantic amounts of damage. Lahens evaporates. That's a second kill coming in as Chovy is just free food for Deft. It's another kill to come down for Smeb as well as KT Rolster. They even it out. It's a best of 3 now, guys, for all the marbles in the LCK.